Welcome back to the Fans in Motion podcast, the only podcast that you didn't know you needed. I'm looking at my boy Josh here, and I say, Josh, worlds collide and hearts will be broken. Over and over, it's the same every day. How can I say what has never concerned me? The secret of my success is I'm living 25 hours a day. Say hello, Josh.
I hope that never leaves the set list. Welcome everyone to your weekly episode of Stupid. Thank you for joining us. What's everybody doing out there? I wonder, the three people that listen, I wonder what they're doing. It's I know Mark's probably ironing, and
or
Chapin's probably sitting there pissed off that the Steelers renamed their stadium. And
I wanted to chime in on that Steelers name in the field, but I was like, I can't say anything because he's going to come back with some smart Bengal comment and I can't refute it. So
who cares? And then, I'm sure we're being used as torture devices for someone hey, go clean the yard or
you got to watch
the Fans in Motion.
All the episodes.
But anyways, if you are out there watching, listening, doing whatever, we thank you. I will raise a toast. Look at that. I'm drinking the good stuff tonight. Milwaukee's Best Light.
I have little mini Coke Zeros. Pinky out, when in doubt.
Milwaukee's Best Light. I remember back in the 90s when I first was able to start buying beer, you could get a 6-pack of that for $1.99.
Wow.
33 cents. It's actually, what doesn't change, really think, if you think about inflation and costs and stuff, there's one thing that really, there's three things. One that is 2 liters. 2 liters are pretty much about the same price as they were 20 years ago. Not a big jump in difference. Hot Wheel cars, now they're not all metal anymore, but hey, they've kept them at $1. And now you can pretty much still sometimes get, even though they're 16 ounces, which is more, you can still get a 6-pack of Milwaukee's Best Light sometimes on sale for just a little bit over a couple bucks. So
now,
those three things.
Josh, being someone who's not partaked in the Milwaukee's Best, is it truly Milwaukee's Best, do you think? Is their best offering?
I would say no, because it doesn't have a blue ribbon on it.
Is PBR out of Milwaukee?
It used to be,
or Milwaukee, as Alice people would say.
Well, as the
Indians.
Yeah. So yes, past blue ribbon used to be brewed in Milwaukee. It is no longer. I think it's brewed out in Seattle.
There you go.
So I don't think it's been brewed there for 30 years. Well, a little bit less, 25 years, something like that. So
just always curious if it was truly Milwaukee's Best or if that was a little bit misleading in the advertising.
Well, it's all a matter of opinion. But and it's not the cheap. Like I've always considered Busch Light wino beer. Like all the alcoholics love Busch Light. I don't know what it is, but anyways, we're here to talk Night Ranger. Our previous episode, the interview with John Nyman from YNT, where he shared some stories about the Bay Area, Rubicon. Just a good story. Just part one. If you haven't yet, go back, listen to it. Everybody that has listened to it is enjoying it. So many great stories. Just I don't like the one where how his family came to the United States. Well, his dad's on what do you say? I can't remember now. It was the Finnish Navy or something. Anyways, the boat gets sunk. They go to, they get transported to New York, and he moves, and, he tells his family, hey, come over here. Let's go to America. And then he eventually, they go out to California. So John Nyman's here because, his grandfather on a boat, it got sunk in World War II or something like that.
Isn't that crazy?
Just great stories. Part 2, which will be released next week, is even better. We get into he's got a great story about being on the cruise with Night Ranger, and there's some other stuff. So just tune in. YNT is a great freaking band along with Night Ranger. Both of them, even in their fourth decades now, Night Ranger just entered their fourth, and Y&T's about 45, 46, somewhere in there. They're both playing at the top of their game. So check out the John Nyman interview from last week and part 2 this coming week. So we'll just keep tracking right along. Let's talk about some Night Ranger tour dates, what they got coming up. Finally, this weekend, they got a couple dates in California. There's been a lot of people.
I was like, are they playing the Midwest?
Yeah, Wisconsin. So this weekend, July 16th, they're in Turlock, California. I think it's called the county's like Stanislaus or something like that. County Fair.
Yeah.
And July 17th, they're in Sacramento, hometown of Jeff Watson, if I remember correctly.
You think he'll be there?
Yeah, I don't think so. So it'd be nice,
How cool would that be?
Yeah, but I tell people, hey, that ex that's in your past, do you want to go meet up with her and share good times? So there you go. So a couple California dates coming up, and then the following weekend, Fans of Motion will be in motion. They are playing Minot at like the North Dakota County or North Dakota, I guess maybe State Fair, or I don't know what the fuck it is, but they're opening for Kid Rock. So Minot, why not Minot? Out in the middle of nowhere, Air Force Base is there, and then they're tracking all through the night. And the next day, Saturday, they're playing Rock the Block in Wilmington, Ohio.
Yes,
where the three of us will be reunited, and there will be other Fans of Motions there. Rock the Block, 2 night of, or actually maybe 3 night. They might be doing something Thursday, but Friday is Striper, Saturday is Night Ranger, and then all through the day outside, they have live shows. They have like 3 bands before outside, then inside the theater is Night Ranger, and then after the show is a concert outside. And Saturday night after Night Ranger is Mr. Speed, one of the best Kiss tribute bands.
Oh, whoa!
Out there. So
I didn't know that.
Well, you know what? You need to listen to this podcast. You'll learn shit like that.
I'm learning it right now. By the way, mentioned our boy Brent couldn't be here tonight, so that's why you got me and Josh.
Yeah. Didn't even
you just glaze over that absence, don't you?
Didn't even notice.
He just was unavailable tonight. It wasn't, there's nothing wrong with
my
him.
Goal is this to be a solo podcast where I just talk Night Ranger to myself. We have a new show announcement. Did you pay attention to the Night Ranger socials? You did not.
Well, I'm thinking of the Kentucky show. Is that the new one?
Negative. The new show announced December 30th.
Oh, yes.
Las Vegas at the Golden Nugget, which I really want to go because I like Vegas. I haven't gone in.
We got to work that out, Josh.
12 years, but
I bet I can talk my better half into going.
I like Old Downtown. Now, maybe it's changed. There's been a lot of shootings Old Downtown, but when I was going, decade ago, I stopped staying on the Strip and started staying at Old Downtown just because to me, it was a little bit more Vegas. It was more gambling and seedy and stuff like that than the Strip.
Yeah.
So Golden Nugget, should be a good time. You can stay at the Four Queens or the Plaza. Plaza's redoing a lot of stuff. So, anyways, December 30th, there is a New Year's Eve show. It's not announced. I will just tell you that there is one, as of now. So, so there will be a show the next night. That's it. So if you want to travel and go see Night Ranger on New Year's Eve, they will be playing
somewhere.
All right. So what else we got? So Night Ranger news. Last weekend, July 4th weekend, July 3rd, they played in Coralville, Iowa. And then I guess that'd been 2 weekends ago. This last weekend, they did a rare 3 rows on a show, which they usually don't do, but they've got some of these coming up. Um,
Yeah.
they played Minnesota, Iowa, and the Gathering on the Green in Wisconsin. One thing they've been doing, which is we've talked about previous, but now it's stuck, is they're opening the show with "You Can Still
Yeah.
Rock in America." Um, the only thing is so they've taken out like Somewhere, Some Way, or whatever,
Yeah.
and moved Rock in America in its place, but they haven't added anything. So we're losing a song.
Yeah.
Um, you know, someone needs to get a hold of those guys and let them know.
If only we knew somebody that could
Yeah.
bend their ear a little bit.
So yeah, so Rock in America is opening. I like that. I mean,
Yeah, I don't mind it. I actually watched the video that someone posted, and I was like, I don't hate that they open with it. I mean, I love that it's the closer, but that's such a in-your-face song. I mean, that wakes you right up.
well, I think that haven't they been closing with "Don't Tell Me You Love Me"? So usually it was they would close the main set with "You Could Still Rock in America,"
Yeah.
right? Then they would do the encore, and it would be "Sister Christian" and "Don't Tell Me You Love Me." Well, they've stopped really like going off stage and coming back out, and they've been playing a straight
Right
show.
through.
And so I think like really that's one of the reasons why they can take "You Can Still Rock in America" and put it elsewhere. I mean,
Yeah.
um, I don't think you could close it with "Don't Tell Me" or with "You Can Still Rock in America," but I don't know if you really can open with "Don't Tell Me You Love Me." I mean, I guess you could, but it just doesn't seem as
No, that don't seem right.
right as "You Can Still Rock in America." But uh yeah, I guess if you really want to throw them for a loop, open up with "High Enough" or something. So there's the last couple weeks previous and a couple weeks coming up. So busy schedule in the Night Ranger world. Now,
Right.
also, we've talked about the Danny Ripepi Memorial Show, which is going to be with the Contemporary Youth Orchestra in Cleveland, I think September 10th, whatever that Wednesday is. So either September 9th or 10th. Anyways, tickets were originally going to be on sale in early July. Those are going on sale, I'm pretty sure, at the end of August. So more details will come out from that. But so the tickets going on sale have been a little
And the show's in
delayed.
November, right?
November, like did I say September?
Yeah.
Well,
You said
September.
September, but yeah, it's
September was
November.
last year. So
Right.
November, at like 9th or 10th.
Yeah, it's like a Wednesday, right?
Yeah, it's a Wednesday night. So like I said, it's going to be a unique show. Night Ranger with the Contemporary Youth Orchestra should be very cool. We'll be up there. I need to start planning like a Fans of Motion get together the night before so we can all be freaking bloody hungover the next day. Other thing in Night Ranger news is the 40th anniversary of Brad touring with Ozzy is this year.
Yes.
And I think it was Guitar World released an article talking about that, and they also found unreleased audio of a show from Osaka, Japan, from that tour that hasn't been heard. So I've listened to a little bit. It's really good quality. What's good is, the only really like commercial stuff that's out there is "Speak of the Devil," which is Brad and Ozzy, but it's all Black Sabbath covers. This has him playing some of the Ozzy tunes. The Ozzy solo stuff. So you get to hear Brad on that. It'd be cool if they, would ever get a commercial release. They got that. They got the King Biscuit Flower Hour, where which was a radio show, which they aired a thing with Brad playing. I think they were in Tennessee or something like that. But other than that, not much more on the Night Ranger news front. The Joel Hoekstra supergroup with all those other guys, iconic. I think the vinyl sold out. I can't find the vinyl anywhere. It's they didn't really offer it on sale on Amazon, and on the Frontiers website it is sold out. So if you're wanting a copy of that and you see it, you better get it. So Anything else we can think of in the Night Ranger news world?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So there you go. Andy, I see a drum kit behind you.
Well, oh yeah, yes. Want me to
Where's
play
the
a little
drum?
for you?
No.
The neighbors would love that.
Well,
I'm finally getting the Touch of Madness Studios set up a little bit.
what?
Copyright Andy Parker.
Uh, I thought it was going to be the Carry On Like an Ice Machine Studios. So, what new stuff do you got? You got anything new there, Andrew Parker?
I actually, Josh, now, as everybody knows, the 4 or 5 people that watch the show know I rarely bring anything to the show, whether it's conversation, especially product. I rarely bring anything. But while moving stuff around and setting all this up, I stumbled upon something I didn't know I had it. So I'm going to present it. I'm going to show it to Josh here. I have not seen this since I apparently bought it somewhere. That is can you see it?
Yeah, it's a 12-inch single.
Rumors in the air.
Oh, there you go. That would
it's
have
the same
been
thing on both sides.
Yep. I don't even know if it's an edit either. I think they're the same.
Yeah, I think it's the same song. Doesn't say anything. Look at the time on it. If it
some
says.
of those 12-inch singles will have a radio edit. So, like
Yeah,
Sister Christian's got 30 seconds trimmed off, and
4:31.
4 in the morning's got.
Oh, it is. There is an edit.
All right.
So on this side, it's 3:54, 3 minutes 54 seconds. This side, it's 4 minutes and 31 seconds.
That'd be interesting. I have to get the old turntable hooked up down here so we can.
Do you have that one? This?
Yeah.
I was moving stuff around. I'm like, what in the hell is this? I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know I had this. I'm a horrible person.
So that's the only single how it was released in the States. It was released as a 45 single in Japan with a cover.
Yeah.
With a picture cover, but that's the only, it was never released as a 45 in the States. It was released as a 12-inch single. And it's been rumored in the air, that originally when they were putting that song together, Kelly was singing that.
And I would love to hear that.
I don't know if they ever recorded it, but I can't remember even where it came from. If I read it,
you need to have them let us go through their archives. Like they got to have some tapes somewhere. Just we'll come out. Just leave us alone.
I've had conversations.
We've talked about it before.
Rumored to exist, Jack Blade singing Sentimental Street.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, so 12-inch rumors.
That's what I've got. You got anything new, Josh?
We did an episode. I don't think you were on that episode. I think it was me and Brent, but we did an episode where we went through all the 12-inch singles.
Yeah.
That Night Ranger has. So if you're into vinyl collecting and you want to go down another, rabbit hole, go find that episode. So some of the stuff I've showed on previous episodes. I think in the past, a couple things maybe. This I know I have, but I just saw it laying there. It's like I'll show it again. So this is Krang.
Yeah.
July 22nd, 1989. And if you look, Night Ranger's mentioned, right? Or not 1988. No, July 22nd, 1989. I apologize. So Night Ranger's listed there. And this is a very sad issue because let me find it right here. Fall of the Night. This so far is the best first-hand account in which it's not a true first-hand account because it is a first-hand account because it's from Jeff Watson, but it is from the time period. So it's different hearing them talk 30 years later about the breakup of Night Ranger. Memories get a little skewed and stuff like that, right? This is right when it's happening. So firsthand account from the time period about Night Ranger breaking up and talks about them, the record company releasing greatest hits, even though Night Ranger blah, 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 blah. MCA has released this record without our permission. I don't even know what's on it because we weren't asked to compile it or anything. It's really a bit of a joke. Is this a joke? So this is again, um, uh, this is Jeff Watson. We had to split up. We were tired of being with a company who simply wanted us to deliver ballads or wimpy songs all the time. They didn't want us to rock. You just can't keep going faced with that kind of attitude. There really wasn't much point in continuing any longer. Eventually, we made the decision to move on after Man in Motion was released. A record the label even refused to release at one point, which we've talked about, that they submitted it with 9 tracks.
Yep.
So it was the Man in Motion record without Restless Kind and without I Did It for Love. They wanted a ballad. Jack and Kelly went and wrote Restless Kind, recorded it, submitted it. They said that wasn't good enough. And then they got Russ Ballard's song, I Did It for Love. Therefore, you went from 9 to 11 tracks. I would, if you were at the show, I'd like to hear from you. We played our last show at an Air Force base in Colorado. It was a really big show that was open to the public. We knew it would be our last gig. We pulled out all the stops that night, but then we did every night. We loved being on stage. That was where we came into our own. Nobody could push us around up there. He talks about having a project with a few people that you might know. David Sykes on bass. He was in Boston. Jesse Bradman on vocals. What's your former bandmates up to? Brad Gillis has something happening, but there's no details to be had yet. But Jack Blades is working on an album with Ted Nugent and ex-Styx guitarist Tommy Shaw that will be very interesting. Geffen looks most likely to snap them up, which didn't happen. It was Warner Brothers. So the main thing is that even though Night Ranger is no more, each of us still intends to deliver. We'll all be back very soon. So the death of Night Ranger covered there.
Now, did you know about that article? Like, I mean, I'm sure how did you know which Kerrang to go for? Or did you have that?
Some people will list this on auction sites with Night Ranger on the cover. And so that's how I knew it existed. And I am not a big magazine collector. I never was. I've gotten more now from just buying some. And I got a collection from someone not too long ago. But this was one of the ones I bought just because of the date, July 22nd, 1989, which back then magazines were sometimes about 2 months behind. So if this was July 22nd, 89, this could have been, May 25th. I know Metal Edge was always like that. So but it very could, I don't know about Crank. So I just knew this date. What were they talking about? That was the end of Night Ranger, 88, early 89. So I paid the money and got this, and it's like I said, one of the best articles out there if you're trying to just get a little bit of information on what happened to the band.
Especially at that moment.
There's conflicting stories. I mean, Jack in his later years have said, everybody's wanting to write songs and wants their name on there, and drugs or other stuff involved, and it just became something where he's like, all right, you guys want that, I'm out. And he quit. So and those are Jack's words in interviews you can find, that Jack quit, and then the other 3 guys just quit it too. So but there you go. The other thing I just got this. I kind of like, just if I can get them for real cheap, I like buying from this time period. So this is a ticket stub. Ted Nugent, Bad Company, and Night Ranger concert at Fort Hood, August 2nd, 1996.
Wow.
So I like that because this is right when they got back together.
Yeah.
So and I've told this story, previous, but they were playing with Gary Moon, Gary Moon, Brad, and Kelly, all the way up to like early April.
Yeah.
And then by May, I think, they've got a deal to get the original Night Ranger guys together. And I think they're playing some dates in June. This is off my memory. If you go back, I probably got proof where I'm like, look, this is, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. So it's just amazing how quick that went. Now, if I remember correctly as well, Damn Yankees reconvened in 1995, and it just didn't quite work out. Tommy Shaw went back to Tommy Shaw went to Styx. Styx was getting their big reunion back together, and which that tour happened in '96.
Yeah.
That first big reunion tour, and so Ted's obviously going to go solo back again. So Jack, what's his Jack got going on? All right, well, I'll go back to Night Ranger. Michael Cardelloni actually went and he went and was drumming for Ted. When I saw Ted I had to look, it was either 95 or 96. Michael Cardelloni was the drummer. So I saw half of Damn Yankees.
Interesting.
But I can't believe I don't remember what year that was. Usually I remember that pretty well. But so they get back together, and I've told the story, so I'll tell it again. So back then there's no internet. How do you get tour dates and stuff like that? Really the radio. And about a year or two later, I had all the phone numbers for all the venues, like in Cleveland and Cincinnati. So you could call them and they would have recordings. It'd be like updated June 29th, and so you knew, if you just kept notes, okay, you knew right away, June 29th, okay, I've already heard this one. And so you would just listen and hear. That's how you would get like dates far away and stuff. But I wasn't doing that at the time. I just never thought of it. So you got to remember, like 1995, I graduated, I turned 18. So in December of 95, Kelly Kagi gives me that all access pass and we follow him around a little bit. And that spring of 96, again, maybe late April, May or something like that, I called Drive Entertainment, which was Night Ranger's label. I'm like, hey, I want to know, like, who can I talk to about Night Ranger tour dates? And like, they're thinking I want to meet the band or something. Like, no, I just want to, give you guys my money. And finally they gave me the phone number to the road manager. And I just remember, like, he's like, how'd you get my number? I'm like, record label gave it. He's like, oh, I'm like, dude, I just want to know where the hell they're playing. And I remember him saying, like, they had a couple Ohio dates. Maybe I talked to him twice. Again, this is almost 30 years ago. But what I do remember, I remember him telling me there's a couple dates. Seems like there was like some Gary Moon stuff. Maybe I called him back a couple months later. But this is the part I do remember, is that he told me, he goes, we're going to be playing here, here, and here. He goes, don't tell anybody yet, but we got the original band back together. So I was probably one of the first to know.
Yeah.
And so this was like I said, springish, so May. And the only date that was around us was in Owensboro, Kentucky, which was 6 hours away, which at the time, I'd probably only on my own ever drove 3 hours away.
Yeah.
So, drove 6 hours to Owensboro, Kentucky, which is not there's not like a real good direct highway to it.
Yeah,
it was in a Marriott hotel that had a little theater, like dining room theater.
Yeah.
That's where Night Ranger was playing. there was like a dance stage in front, and then you had like the half circle like dinner seats. So like me and my buddy sitting there with like this old couple that probably got tickets because they checked in. I mean, they were old. They were
Yeah.
like now, they were old back then. Like they were probably like
Yeah.
70, which
Right.
but and they looked it. But um I got the tickets with our all access pass. Remember I told you, like, but they were
Yeah.
like, it was like Mojo, the Mojo album cover. So I'm getting my free tickets to Night Ranger with the Mojo pass for the reunion tour. The one thing I do remember is I'm out front trying to explain to the lady I got an all access pass, give me a ticket. And this is back when you don't have that much money and stuff. And out the door come Brad Gillis and Jeff Watson. Now I met Brad a couple times,
Yeah.
but I never met Jeff Watson. I was like, oh my God, it's, and they were rushing to get somewhere. But so yeah, so then everybody's sitting down at this little dinner theater. Right?
Was there a good crowd?
Yeah, it was, but it maybe sat maybe 200.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
maybe.
I mean, how did they might know about it?
I mean, it was a weird show. Someone on this page was at that show. I remember talking to him. I can't remember now. But they were at the show and they were like, yes, everything you remember is right. Weird hotel ballroom. So the show starts. Another thing I remember is lights go down, right? Everybody's in their dinner seats. And it's the beginning of Mojo, that modulated bass, that dun 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 dun,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Maybe.
Like, wait a minute.
I'm like, well, is it all the original member? I mean, I saw Jeff Watson, but it's the beginning of Mojo.
Yeah.
And that was just like the opening, thing. And then they broke into whatever song they were playing, and they played one or two songs, and then they told everybody to get, to come up front, because it's them on this stage that is maybe, I don't know, 2.5 feet high.
Yeah.
And a dance floor for like ballroom dancing. No one's up there. Everybody's in their dinner seats just watching Night Ranger. And they're like, come up, come up. So I just remember I went and stood like in between Jack and Brad. I was actually more in front of Jack. But that was my first time seeing the original band since I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
1985, which is like a lifetime, like I thought, oh, that's 11 years ago. That's like forever. Now it's like 11 years, like, close my eyes and it's 11 years. But so that's the Night Ranger reunion, era that I like. Just seeing the States. It's kind of cool because Ted Nugent, Damn Yankees, Bad Company, Ted Nugent, Jack Blades had just done that big tour in 1990 and 1991. This is them just coming out of grunge, and these bands just starting to be accepted again. Really what got those wheels moving was that Eagles reunion in 95.
Yeah.
And the Kiss reunion in early 96. And that kind of got, it's because before that,
this is okay.
Yeah. Now it took a while to trickle down to the 80s bands. It was kind of like the 70s bands were cool. It took a while for the 80s bands, and I can almost kind of like pinpoint it. So I saw Motley Crue in February of 1999, and they were playing a theater in Dayton, Ohio. I mean, a decent sized theater, maybe 3,000, something like that, right? That summer with the Scorpions, they were back playing like the 18,000 seat amphitheaters, which, I mean, it wasn't sold out, but just from 98 to 99, it seemed to like, okay,
it's coming back.
Because like 98, I'm seeing Cinderella at the Al Rosa Villa, a rundown club. And then the next year, I'm seeing them on the Rock Never Stops tour which is playing decent sized places with a few bands. So there you go. Anyway,
So your ticket stub there, just for clarification, that is original lineup Night Ranger
correct.
opening for Bad Company and Ted, which predates, the show I went to in Petaluma,
which was
which
early 97,
like March 97, I believe. I have to
so
pull the flyer out, but
so
yeah,
what,
like
what
March.
you would have gotten that's cool is you would have gotten like probably to hear some Neverland stuff.
Yeah, they opened with a couple of songs off Neverland. That's so cool.
Yep. So it's just that weird little period where there's no internet. I mean, there was, but nothing major. There's no
it was
no social media, so it's like their reunion in 96, there's so little of it out there.
Yeah.
You get the next year, 97, Neverland, you get, that stuff. There's photos, there's CDs, there's actually some like camcorder stuff out there, but there's really nothing from 96.
Like I said, I have, and I don't know what's happened to it. I have almost a full 97 Neverland tour shot on a video camera. I can't find it to save my life. I was filming it all until Jack told security to stop me, and you see me run away to hold the camera.
So, well, you need to find it. The other thing,
I mean, it's one of the biggest. I search and search, and I can't. I don't know what happened to it.
The other thing is you'll see these on eBay. You can still get them $20-$30. This is the Japanese tour book, Japanese tour 1986. I think there's two. I think this one is just Japanese tour for 7 Wishes. It's almost the same, but then there's one I think for the next year that says 86. So there's one I think there's a Midnight Madness one and a Man in Motion one, but 7 Wishes there's 2. One just is like this without anything here, and then one states that it's from 1986.
Okay.
But they're very well done. Let's see if there's anything just all color photos.
Love a tour book, man. They're just so cool.
But it's kind of a cool cool shot one of the stage, so you can see the full stage.
Yeah.
And then there's this one here. Brad. Someone threw a souvenir up to Brad. Jeff on some keyboards.
That's probably somebody from the page back in the day.
But anyways, very well done. There's, like I said, 3 or 4, there's at least 4 of these Japanese tour books.
I gotta find my Midnight Madness one. I have that somewhere, that posters type thing.
Yeah, the US one is just kind of like basically poster. It's like a poster that's
I have it. I bought it at the show.
Then the other thing, since everybody likes vinyl, I think I've showed this before, but a lot of people don't know that there is a Damn Yankees Don't Tread on vinyl.
Nice.
It is it Korean? The first record you can get, there's the US version. There's a stock copy, then there's promo copies, there's like record company copies. There's a German version, a Japanese version, but with this, there is only this copy, which is printed in Korea. And if I remember correctly, there is a song missing. Dirty Dog is not on the record. They leave that off. So has a insert. So if you can get that probably for less than $100 and you don't have it, you might want to snag it, because every place I see it now is triple digits. So there you go, with all the Night Ranger Collectible.
Can I'll tell you, I forgot to tell you this earlier. You'll find it funny. So I'm working today, and I'm talking to the guys I work with, and I tell them, yeah, I said I do this, I co-host this Night Ranger podcast, right? And one of the guys looks at me and goes, they're still touring, don't you? Like they still play. I was like, do they?
Like, shit, that's something we could talk about on our podcast.
Are you kidding me? I just like that. I'm like, what? Like, you think I don't know that?
Well, that's why like I tell people, it's like, oh, I wish they'd play something off Big Life. It's like not a lot. Most people aren't like us. I remember I went and saw Kiss, 2019 when the End of the Road tour started, and the people next to me, this older couple, when when Kiss hit the stage, they didn't know they were back in makeup.
Oh,
they're like, whoa, they're like they were in the old days. They're wearing their makeup again. And yeah, so
yeah,
that might be a little extreme, but most people,
that's crazy.
They don't know who's in the band, and
yeah,
who sang what or played what.
I don't understand these people. Well, speaking of our people, Josh, do you have any fans in motion people you want to mention?
Dennis Albright. I don't. He posted this MTV interview from 1982.
Yes, I watched some of that.
I did not. I mean, I watched like 5 seconds, but looked pretty neat. I mean, they're young, and
yeah,
it's probably one of the first things they did on MTV. I'd never seen it before, so
if I remember correctly, and you watch it and tell me, but in the beginning they're talking about, because this is the infancy of MTV, and Mark Goodman's talking to them about MTV, and I think Brad says he doesn't even have MTV.
Yes, okay, I did see that where he's like
where he's living, like in Alameda at the time. Yeah, whatever. He's like, we don't have it.
But
he's like, I can't even.
We're getting it, and then Jack's like, yeah, we got it. So very cool. Like I said, I've never seen it out there before, so search our page if you want to see that. Tammy, let's see here, did I get all of her name? I did not. Tanny, I don't know if it's Joplin, posted some of her collection. So I think
cool.
This is from, I think I saw a comment, maybe it was from 2009 or something, but I was just seeing how much the set list had changed.
Yeah.
They opened with This Boy Needs to Rock.
Great song.
The third song is from Hole in the Sun, You're Going to Hear From Me. Rumors in the Air, Call My Name, Secret of My Success, Sentimental Street, Eddie, Brad and Joel, Then Do Something, High Enough, Goodbye, then 4 in the Morning, When You Close Your Eyes, Coming of Age, Don't Tell Me You Love Me. I can't see the rest, but I would assume then Sister Christian and You Can Still Rock in America. So the set list has changed and evolved a little bit. Unfortunately, Secret is still in there. Mike
25
Brunn,
hours a day. Yeah.
Our competition, he interviewed Zach Throne, bass player for Bruce Kulick and Ace Frehley, and he shares a story about Night Ranger and Jack Blades. It's kind of cool. It ties into that early 90s song, How Do You Talk to an Angel?
Yeah.
From the TV show The Heights. Track that down. Amy Johnson from the Rock from the Heart Foundation, and her husband Pete gave Ed Ripepi one of those custom snare drums. This has the 7 wishes wrap around on it. For an upcoming auction, I don't know if it's for the Danny Ripepi show or what, but keep an eye out for that and spend your money. John Nyman, who we've had on the show, posted this photo with Great White holding his new record, which is phenomenal. And I put on there, hey, this picture ties in 2 ways. 1, John Nyman on our show, and 2, Jack Blades produced and co-wrote the Great White album, Can't Get There From Here, which is, he co-wrote like 6 songs on that record.
Really?
It's a great record. Don Dokken co-wrote a couple songs and sings on it. So if you have not tracked down Can't Get There From Here, really good record. To me, it's probably one of their best. What else do we got? Mike Smith recorded old Eric Levy taking over the vocals on
Don't tell me you
Tell Me You
love
Love Me.
me.
Tom Chapin, an accidental find today, he says. That's his 12-inch single
Yeah.
of Wild and Innocent Youth from the movie Out of Bounds.
Yes.
Dan Market and his wife Lisa went to 2 Night Ranger shows and got all kinds of swag and everything.
Look at that.
Rockin' America being the first song played. He got the 40th anniversary cozy there, Night Ranger koozie or whatever they are. Lori Pierce out there pissing me off without her Fans in Motion sticker.
Look at that.
She's got the Night Ranger and the Aces and L, but no Fans in Motion. Mark Greenaway sitting in
Look at that old chap.
in England there, playing
Air
his
guitaring it out.
air guitar. See here. And Donna Gallucci shared this from 7 years ago when she was at Night Ranger's show. But what I took out of it was they performed Don't Live Here Anymore from the High Road record.
Yeah.
So she shows her there holding Carrie Kelly's guitar.
What a great pick.
Cool. You know, I don't know if I knew they played that live. You know, how I could have probably been there and heard it.
I don't recall it, but
well, you don't even know who you've seen. So Don't Live Here Anymore from High Road was played. And last but not least, Per Gustafsson.
Yeah, I was asking if you brought that one up.
He was already more than a month since Night Ranger's long-awaited visit in my home country. It was such a blast. You could still rock in Sweden, and he posted some pictures from Night Ranger at Sweden Fest. So there you go, the latest in the world of Night Ranger.
Yeah.
You got anything else there, Turbo?
I do not. I've shared all my stuff here.
What do we got? So next week we will be releasing the John Nyman episode, part 2. The week after that, we will have been in Wilmington.
Be dark.
Well, no, might be.
Maybe
darker.
we'll go live on Facebook. Facebook Live from the show.
Well, maybe, perhaps, but we will have been in Wilmington with Night Ranger. So stay tuned for that. If you're listening, thank you.
Hi.
I'm not sure why. You must be a really dedicated Night Ranger fan. But track us down on the Facebook machine. Click like, follow, all that good stuff. You can now. I am getting the website updated, which means when the website updates, our episodes update on Spotify, Apple Music, and all that shit. So, getting there. That will all be updated, so you can find us on all those podcatchers: Spotify, Audio Mac, Stitcher, whatever,
iHeart, Apple Podcast, all of them.
If they don't have us, then they're not worth going to. And we're on Instagram and Twitter. I highly suggest tracking us down there, because especially on Twitter, because that's where a lot of times you'll get the news first. And we got a website, fansofmotion.com.
Yeah. Well, you also do like exclusive stuff for like the Instagram and
sometimes, like I might show.
It's just good to follow it all because you never know.
If I post a live photo, I may, post it in black and white or something on that page, or I may post a different photo on that. But Twitter is like, if you want like some news and stuff, that's where I find stuff and I can just hit a button, I share it.
Yeah.
It's the easiest. So there you go. Rock and roll, hoochie coo.
Yeah.
Andrew, take us out.
That's it. Once again, thanks everybody. If you're still watching this, watching Josh drink Milwaukee's best, tilt one up yourself. Thank you for being part of the Fans in Motion family. We always ask everybody to tell one friend. Everybody tell one person. Let's build this page. Our numbers are climbing a little bit. I've seen that recently, Josh. So hopefully we'll see some of you at some of these shows. Josh and I and Brent are going to make our rounds. So thanks again for watching and listening and
Rock and
building this
roll.
nation.
Rock and roll. We will see you later.